one of the questions, of course, is if he's lining up this very young girl to be his successor, does that mean that he's in poor health and he's worried that, he might die and need a successor soon?
She's been called the world's most dangerous 13-year-old girl, and as of this morning stands one step closer to ruling over North Korea. According to South Korean intelligence reports, Kim Joo-ae has been selected by her father, the country's current leader Kim Jong-un, to be his eventual successor. Little is known about Kim Joo-ae in a country and power structure shrouded in secrecy. She made her first appearance on state television back in 2022, filmed inspecting Pyongyang's latest intercontinental ballistic missile. Naturally. But more recently, the teenager has been pictured beside her father at high-profile events, including Kim Jong-un's visit to Beijing in September, her first known trip abroad. So what can we read into her anointing as heir apparent in this extraordinary dynasty? Joining us is the Times' Asia editor Richard Lloyd Parry. Good morning, or indeed good afternoon where you are.
Good afternoon from Tokyo.
What is the NIS, South Korea's National Intelligence Service, basing its assessment on here?
Well, they're spies, so they don't tell us that. We just have to take it on trust that they've got their sources and that their sources are reliable. And over the years, they haven't always got it right. So, you have to you have to understand that this is an intelligence assessment that no one else can really check. But they do watch the North Korean leadership and the Kim family very closely. They probably have some, assets in the country, we assume. And so they're pretty authoritative, and they, every few months, give reports to South Korean MPs where they brief them on this kind of thing. About 6 months ago, they were saying she may be on course to become the successor, and now they say she definitely is.
And is there also an element here in North Korea, in a country where symbolism and the way things are portrayed is so important, that her increasingly prominent public presence at official events is contributing to South Korea's assessment?
Yeah, that's very clear. I mean, she first popped up about 3 years ago. We sort of dimly knew that Kim had some kids, including a daughter, and we heard the name Joo-ae for the daughter. And then 3 years ago, she started appearing alongside him when he went on his travels around the country, watching missiles being fired, visiting military units. That's happened more and more. At the time, some people said, oh no, a woman could never be leader of North Korea. It's far too patriarchal. But that is no longer the consensus. And yes, in recent events, so Kim made a visit to a place called the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, which is the mausoleum of both his father and his grandfather, and one of the holy places of the Kim cult. And his daughter was there, and in the group photograph, she was right in the middle of the front row. And that's the sort of thing that indicates her rising position. So there's something called the protocol ranking. When they have these big events, the state media will list those present. And Kim Jong-un is inevitably the first on the list. And she's now started appearing as number 2, which suggests, again, that she's in the line of succession.
And on your point of it being a sort of patriarchal society, I think it's also of note that Kim Jong-un's sister has held prominent positions too. I think currently at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and is reported to have influence over her brother. So maybe things are changing in that direction. It sounds absurd asking you this when we're talking about a 13-year-old, but can we read anything into her selection in terms of the political future and direction of North Korea?
Not really. I mean, the South Korean spies say that she is even giving her father advice on policy. I'm not sure how they know that. They don't say what policies she's advising on, whether it's kind of nuclear strategy or just agricultural output. We don't know. So no, it's very difficult to read into it. All you can do is speculate. I mean, one of the questions, of course, is if he's lining up this very young girl to be his successor, does that mean that he's in poor health and he's worried that, he might die and need a successor soon? And there doesn't seem to be any sign of that. I mean, it's obvious from just looking at the photographs that for a man of 42 of his height, he's overweight. I think he qualifies as obese. And he sometimes is seen to get a bit breathless after climbing a flight of stairs. But South Korean intelligence is not reporting that he has any life-threatening conditions. So it doesn't seem to be the case that he's worried he's going to die and needs a successor for that reason.
Could it be a move designed to ward off any potential challenges, to say, look, I know what the plan for my country is, and it's going to be the Kim dynasty going forward? Or was that never in question anyway?
Who knows? I mean, that again would be a good, if that was the case, if you felt threatened, or that your family's succession was threatened, you might then do this and position her very publicly as the success in order to emphasize your wishes. Some people even speculate that his sister Kim Jong-un, who until recently seemed to be the kind of second most important person in the country, that it may be a way of sending her a signal, and that there might even be some kind of familial discord there, or rivalry between the aunt and the niece. But the truth is, we just don't know.
Okay, well, Richard, thank you very much indeed. The Times' Asia editor, Richard Lloyd Parry there. Absolutely fascinating stuff.